The storm wasn't supposed to be this bad. That was what the host's message said. Light snowfall. Very cozy. By the time I pulled into the narrow drive, the world had vanished into white. Snow pressed against the windshield like it meant to keep me here. My phone blinked once, then surrendered to no service. The cabin lights were on. I frowned, heart ticking faster as I unlocked the door. Warmth rushed out to meet me, thick with the scent of wood smoke and pine. And something else. Something lived in. He stood near the fireplace like he'd been caught mid-thought. Dark hair still damp with snow, sleeves rolled up, forearms braced casually at his sides, like this was his place. "Oh," he said at the same time I did. We stared at each other for a beat too long. "I think," he added carefully, "we might be double booked." Of course. Of course this would happen during a snowstorm that erased roads and swallowed signals whole. Outside, the wind slammed against the cabin, rattling the windows as if to remind us that leaving wasn't an option. We were polite at first, almost formal, separate rooms, shared kitchen. I unpacked with my back turned, acutely aware of every sound he made behind me, the scrape of a chair, the low hum of his voice as he spoke to no one in particular. He made tea. I accepted it because my hands were shaking, and I didn't want him to notice. Hours passed, measured by the crackle of the fire and the storm's steady insistence. The power flickered once, just enough to make my breath catch, then steadied. We sat near the hearth, coats abandoned, heat curling up my legs. Our knees hovered inches apart, too close to be accidental, too far to be anything else. "You can take the bed," he offered, eyes on the flames instead of me. I shook my head. "We'll figure it out." His gaze lifted then, slow and deliberate, like he was choosing to see me. The air shifted. I felt it everywhere, tight, electric, aware. The cabin seemed smaller now, warmer. The storm pressed closer, snow whispering against the glass. I could feel his presence like a question I wasn't ready to answer but couldn't stop considering. We talked about nothing. Where we were from. Why we'd come here alone. His voice was low, steady, the kind that settled somewhere under my skin. When he laughed, it surprised me. Soft, close, unguarded. At some point, I realized we'd moved closer. I couldn't remember who started it. His knee brushed mine, stayed. My breath hitched, and I didn't pull away. "Tell me if I'm too close," he said quietly. I should have said something sensible. I didn't. "I'll tell you if you are," I replied. His hand lifted, hovered near my wrist, not touching, waiting. The restraint in it was almost worse than contact. I turned my hand, just slightly, letting my fingers brush his. The touch was brief, controlled, enough to make my pulse race. He leaned in, close enough that his breath warmed my cheek, his mouth hovering near my ear. "We don't have to do anything," he murmured. "Being stuck doesn't mean—" "I know," I said. "That's not why." Silence stretched between us, heavy and deliberate. When his forehead rested lightly against mine, it felt earned, chosen. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, the fire burned low and steady. And for the first time since I arrived, being stuck didn't feel like a problem. It felt like a possibility.